right, y'all, welcome back to episode 5 of Einstein Education. Hope you liked some of the basketball moves that I was making. I think I went 2 for 3. I had a pretty decent free throw line. This week, we're going to be covering another nutrition topic, pre and post workout nutrition, centered around your training in the gym, sporting events, even academically learning, right? Every activity that we do, we could kind of tie into the pre and the post workout nutrition to that activity. So let's dive right into the pre. So, one thing that we want to think about when we're about to perform, let's say, a physical activity like training in the gym or a sporting event, is digestion, right? So number 1 is going to be digestion. And why is this important? Well, for 2 reasons. So when activity goes up, right, digestion has to go down. And for 2 reasons. Our nervous system, our parasympathetic and our sympathetic. Now, so when we are about to engage in activity, our nervous system, we have 2 forms, 2 kinds, parasympathetic and sympathetic. Parasympathetic is fight or flight. Sympathetic is rest and digest. So when we look at activity and digestion goes down, the parasympathetic nervous system turns on, we do not want to consume food near that time. Why? Well, because if all of a sudden we do consume a little bit of food, that means our activity is going to be a little bit worse. Or our bodies are not going to be able to focus so much on the activity at hand. Why? Because it requires blood flow to move to our digestive tract and focus on digesting the food, while at the same time you're trying to increase blood flow to your extremities, arms or legs or head, whatever you're doing for a sport, and it's requiring that to go there. And then at the same time, you have this vicious cycle of parasympathetic and sympathetic that you're co-mingling, which we don't want to do. It's going to limit and it's going to reduce your ability to do something well physically, right? So when we're talking about pre, we need to consider digestion as one of the main sources of whether or not we should be eating or not eating. And we always suggest do not eat food anytime relative closely to the activity that you're doing, right? And then the second part of the pre is going to be timing. So when we think about timing, that doesn't necessarily mean that we want to look at this as, okay, at what time should we eat food then in order to parasympathetic and sympathetic, right, for the nervous system? At what time is it good for us to then eat? Well, we normally recommend on a meal to a snack. If you're going to have a meal, right, and by meal we're talking about a complete source of protein, carbohydrates, fats. It's at minimum at least 500 calories depending on the caloric intake that you take. We say about 2 hours out. 2 hours out. Because at this point, for the meal, you are giving your body enough time to turn on this state, and then after an hour and a half to 2 hours, it'll be allowed to go into this state, which is what we want. When we talk about a snack, we're typically associated to this time frame. You do not want to have any, and by a snack I'm talking a piece of fruit, an apple and some peanut butter, a granola bar, trail mix, a serving of trail mix. Something small. It does stimulate the digestive system, but very moderately. Maybe just give us a quick boost. But we typically do not want to eat a snack the 30 minutes is the earliest, or I should say the latest, that you want to have something closest to your workout. So really typically more or less into this range here. Right, 2 to 3 hours, 45 to 60 minutes for the snack. Right, and as far as liquids, one of the key components about liquids is, don't try to drink sugary drinks before you go to the gym, because sugar is a part of something that your body has to metabolize, so it's going to affect these two. So, water, something that has no calories, no metabolic stimulus, and this we normally associate about 20 to 30 minutes. Because if your body's already dehydrated, it's not going to get hydrated in 20, 30 minutes. I don't care how many bottles of water you chug. Hydration is not a matter of, did I just drink water or not? It's a matter of the consistent consumption and depletion of water stores in your body with sodium and electrolytes. There's many factors of hydration, which we could probably cover in a topic ourselves. But when it comes to liquid, this is about the time that you want to take a pre-workout, right? Some kind of non-caloric stimulant, caffeine powder drink that stimulates your nervous system, right? That parasympathetic, in order to get ready and amped up for exercise. So when we look at the pre, we got to think about digestion and what it does to our nervous system and the timing, and make sure you try to stick around those guidelines. Right, now let's go right into the post. So with the post, we also want to think the same thing, but a couple different things, right? 1, digestion. 2, timing. 3, anabolic window. We want to think about sugar, glycogen. Okay, so, and again, so this ties in after your training. You just got done. You finished your last set. You finished your cardio, right? For digestion, we got to look at those nervous systems again, right? PS and F. This is on. This is off. It takes time. It's not a flip of a switch. For your brain, it is. I'm done with my workout. Now do I need to go eat? No. Your body has to calm down, and it takes 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 60 minutes, depending on the intensity of the exercise, right? Which only if you're working with a specialist or a professional like us would know how that's going to stimulate your body. At what point do you need to eat after your training? Because we're going to know how intense that workout was and get feedback from you. So you need to know that this takes time. So you do not need to eat immediately after a workout. Normally what that's going to do is it's going to slow down digestion. It's going to reduce absorption, right? So we can look at the effects. Slows down, reduces absorption, and waste food then. Right? You're wasting because your body's not digesting. It's just going to excrete it because it didn't go through the digestive tract properly, because your sympathetic nervous system wasn't on, your intestines weren't ready to start breaking down, absorbing food, so it just kind of runs through your system. Sometimes that can just run through your system or just cause constipation, right? It doesn't move quickly. So this is important to know, right? The second is timing. So for timing, at what point do you want to start eating? Well, like I mentioned, could be 30 minutes, 45, could be 60, right? What you can start to do is learn your body. Feel feel. Feel when you start losing that pump. When you start calming down, you're not amped up. You stop sweating. That's when you'll start to see your nervous system's changing. What I normally do for timing is I wait at least 30 minutes. Usually it's about 45 to 60 minutes that I wait to have a meal. Now, if I'm out traveling or going somewhere immediately after and I just fit my workout and I had to go to work, those are times where you can have a protein shake or have something very small, a yogurt. It's not a meal, it's a replacement, right? Just to give you something, because the third is going to go into that anabolic window, which is a topic that we could cover ourselves. Again, anabolic window. What this basically means is the time between when your body has used up the amino acids from your last meal. Right? So when we eat protein, our body breaks it down into amino acids that then get shuttled to our muscles to regrow, repair, right? And there's a certain length of time that it takes for X amount of grams of protein. So typically we can digest about 10 grams an hour, right? So if 2 hours ago you ate a 40-gram protein meal, do you think that you would need to have protein immediately after your workout if your workout was only 2 hours? So think about it this way. 2 hours ago you ate 40 grams. 1, 2, 3, 4. This was before your workout, right? And this was during workout. Now that you could see at this point, if you had a meal at the 2-hour mark and then you trained, it would make sense that about in 30 to 40 minutes you want to eat again, right? But now let's say you had a meal that was an hour apart, right? You had a meal that was an hour apart or 4 hours apart. You can do the math. Or an hour apart and it was 40 grams. Then at that point, if your workout was only an hour, let's say, your body's only really absorbed 20 grams yet. And then all of a sudden you're still left with 20 grams that your body's absorbing through your system, but this hour you were in the parasympathetic nervous system. So it's not like it was absolutely digesting all this. So a lot of it's being wasted here. And then all of a sudden you have a protein shake after your workout, and this is still trying to be absorbed through your system, and now you've added another 30 grams onto your shake, and now all of a sudden you're at 50 that's not even being used. So it's important to understand the anabolic window. Use this as a general guideline, 10 grams per hour, and understand when have I ate, how long is my workout going to be, when do I really need to start eating again, right? The anabolic window is important because as long as your muscles have the fuel, they're going to be growing and changing the way that you want. But if all of a sudden you step outside the anabolic window and your body doesn't have any grams of protein to be constantly, feeding your muscles, then it starts breaking down those muscles in order to repair other ones that are damaged. So if I did strong leg workout and I didn't eat a lot of protein, well then for my biceps, my body's going to start breaking down other amino acids in my muscles in order to help replenish if I'm not nourishing my body with more, it's going to take what it already has built and rust it down. And then that last one that we go into, right, we look at digestion, timing, anabolic window, and then that fourth one that we talked about, having a little blank here, the fourth one that we talked about, digestion, timing, anabolic window, and the nervous system. And just understanding that for those those topics about the post-workout. It's a critical thing to understand. When do you need to eat? What are you going to be eating afterwards? The timing of those, how activity affects your nervous system especially, and understanding the differences between the parasympathetic and sympathetic. This is your fight or flight, and this is rest and digest. All right, so digestion is here, activity is here, and they're constantly in this cycle of one to the other. So give yourself that space. Don't worry. When you're training, give your body that space to train and focus on that and not constantly eating, because it will start to cause constipation, bloating, malnutrition, bad absorption, and overall just a waste of food, because you are not what you eat. You are what you absorb, okay? You are not what you eat. Our digestive tract has a hole here and exutory holes in throughout our body. So it is not what you put into that canal. It's what your body takes out of that canal and absorbs into the rest of your being. So make sure you know the two topics. Right, so just that overview of pre and post workout. Make sure you just guys understand at what time am I going to train today? When do I need to be eating? What's my work schedule? These are all, part of time management skills that you need to work on. You have to get better at. We all do, right? Things come up in our schedules. So sometimes go a little hungry to the gym, because here's a critical tip. Sometimes even if you're a little hungry to go to the gym, go there a little hungry, because right now you're in the sympathetic state. Your digestion's on. So it's a little bit like, hey man, I'm kind of hungry. But as soon as you walk in that gym or that sporting event, you start training, you start suiting up, you're not hungry. You might get thirsty, but you're not hungry. Your body might need a little sugar, but you're not hungry anymore, because all of a sudden you switch to that parasympathetic state, and now your body is amped up. Now it's fight or flight, right? It's time for action. I'm not worried about sitting down and eating. So if there's times you're gonna time crunch, right? If you go all day and not eat, it's better to not train at all, right? You want to fuel workouts. You don't want to get through them. So make sure that know when you're gonna go, and having this knowledge, you'll make better decisions day to day, and you won't torture yourself, right? So give yourself at least 45 minutes to have that snack before you go to the gym, so your body can digest it, absorb it, and then it can still switch over to that parasympathetic and get to work in the gym. If you're gonna eat that big meal, man, you eat that big bowl of rice and chicken and sauce and some veggies and a banana, right? And so, have that 2.5 hours, 2-3 hours before your training session. That's going to take time for your body to digest. So you got to give it that time. You don't want an active meal sitting in your stomach, especially dairy, while you're trying to train. It's going to literally be sitting in your stomach. It ain't moving. Nothing's working down there. And over time, you continuously do that, your body will start having digestive problems, heartburn, acid reflux. A lot of that is caused by that. A lot of that, especially eating late at night. That's a whole nother topic I could talk about. Right, so, and same with post-workout. Know your anabolic window. Know when the last time you ate. Know how much protein that was, and do I really need this shake right now? Right? Protein shakes aren't bad. Supplements aren't bad, but they're supplements. You don't need them, right? You would need them if, hey, I can't eat right now. I just have to go to work, or I just squeezed in this, or I'm traveling and there's nothing for me to eat right now. Yeah, go grab a shake. Go grab one of those things. It's going to give your body some nutrition. But it's not, it's not this has to happen, has to be there all the time. You're going to screw up your digestive system. You're going to screw up your body. You're not going to make the results that you're wanting. So know that difference between the nervous systems, you know, the timing, your anabolic window, and I didn't cover that one about sugar and glycogen, but I can go on that a little bit in a different video. So if you like this, you know, give it a thumbs up. We're going to be covering more topics every week. Keep cranking these out. I hope you like them. So I appreciate if you subscribe, like, support the channel. If you want anything specific to learn about, let me know personally or comment. We're going to be trying to just push these out more and more into the world to help more people. And, you know, check out our Instagram because we're doing different stuff all the time. Giveaways, we're doing, you know, promotions, you know, we're doing little fun glimpses and stuff. And so we're excited, and I'll see you next week.